The text will just jump out at you or grab a hold of you. Either way, when that happens to you, stop. Welcome and thanks for stopping by. My name is Ray, and today I will read to you Genesis chapter 21. So if you're ready, go ahead and turn me up and let's get started. Chapter 21, reading from the English Standard Version. The Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did to Sarah as he had promised. And Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the time of which God had spoken to him. Abraham called the name of his son, who was born to him, who Sarah bore him, Isaac. Whoa. Wow. Now that was a mouthful. Those first three sentences could have really been one, right? It could have just said, as the Lord promised, Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son, and he called him Isaac. But clearly the author wanted us to take notice of something. When I first read this text, I immediately felt like, oh, wait, there's something here, right? And this will happen to you as well. It will. The text will just jump out at you or grab a hold of you. Either way, when that happens to you, stop and labor over it for a little while, okay? Then jot down your thoughts and your questions. That's what I did. And here's what I've learned. The Hebrew word for visited in this context is pakad. Okay? P-A-Q-A-D. Pakad. And it means to remember or to take note of. The Hebrew word for did is asa. A-S-A-H. And it means accomplished, carried out, or fulfilled. So, what did the Lord do? He promised, right? In promise, the Hebrew word for promise in this context is dabar. D-A-B-A-R. In this context, it means he had spoken. And so we can rest assured that what the Lord has spoken, he will accomplish or fulfill. And his word will not delay, for it is not subject to time, matter, or space. Verse 4. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. And Sarah said, God has made laughter for me. Everyone who hears will laugh over me. And she said, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age. And the child grew and was weaned. And Abraham made a great feast on the day that Isaac was weaned. But Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, whom she had borne to Abraham, laughing. And in this case, laughing means mocking. Okay? Weaned means he's no longer Isaac being weaned, means he's no longer receiving breast milk. He now has to eat whole food. And see, that's a word for somebody. And it means it's time to grow up spiritually. Now, Ishmael mocking Isaac could be the result of jealousy. Because you have to remember, up until the birth of Isaac, Ishmael was Abraham, the patriarch, his only son. And I'm sure that came with a lot of perks and a lot of people doting over you. But now they're celebrating and honoring Abraham's promised seed, Isaac. Verse 10. So she said to Abraham, cast out this slave woman with her son, for the son of this slave woman shall not be heir with my son Isaac. And the thing was very displeasing to Abraham on account of his son. But God said to Abraham, be not displeased because of the boy and because of the slave woman. Whatever Sarah says to you, do as she tells you, for through Isaac shall your offspring be named. And I will make a nation of the son of the slave woman also, because he is your offspring. So Abraham rose early in the morning and took bread and a skin of water and gave it to Hagar, putting it on her shoulder along with the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. When the water in the skin was gone, she put the child under one of the bushes. But just remember, this is not a toddler. This is a 13-year-old boy. Then she went and sat down opposite him a good way off, about the distance of a bow shot, for she said, let me not look on the death of the child. And as she sat opposite him, she lifted up her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the boy, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, what troubles you, Hagar? Fear not, for God has heard the voice of the boy where he is. Up, up, lift up the boy, and hold him fast with your hand. For I will make him into a great nation. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the skin with water, and gave the boy a drink. And God was with the boy, and he grew up. He lived in the wilderness and became an expert with the bow. He lived in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took a wife for him from the land of Egypt. To keep from watching her son die, Hagar placed him at a bow shot, a distance. The bow shot is being measured as a distance. Verse 20, then he became an expert with the bow. So what was once a measure of distance out of his mother's fear became his area of expertise. Come on, somebody. The text says, in case you were wondering why, the text says, because God was with him. So thank you, Lord, that you will take what we fear, what should have disqualified us, and turn it into our strength. Verse 22. At that time, Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his army, said to Abraham, God is with you in all that you do. Now, therefore, swear to me here by God that you will not deal falsely with me, or with my descendants, or with my posterity, but as I have dealt kindly with you, so you will deal with me and with the land where you have sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. When Abraham reproved Abimelech about a well of water that Abimelech's servants had seized, Abimelech said, I do not know who has done this thing. You did not tell me, and I have not heard of it until today. So Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them to Abimelech, and the two men made a covenant. Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock apart, and Abimelech said to Abraham, what is the meaning of these 7 ewe lambs that you have set apart? And he said, these 7 ewe lambs you will take from my hand, that this may be a witness for me that I dug this well. Therefore, that place was called Beersheba, because there both of them swore an oath. So they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his army, rose up and returned to the land of the Philistines. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. And Abraham sojourned many days in the land of the Philistines. I just want to share an observation. When Hagar and her son was cast out of Abraham's covering, the text said that she wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. In verse 19, she opened her eyes, right? Remember, God told her, open her eyes, and there appeared a well of water. Fast forward to verse 25, Abraham reproved Abimelech about a well of water. Verse 31, he called that place Beersheba. What's the connection? I'll leave that for you to discover. So there you have it for chapter 21. Thanks for stopping by. I truly appreciate you. Please come back. And until next time, you be blessed. And don't forget to be a blessing. Love you. Bye.